Today we're going to be sharing with you some of the ways in which we manage to live debt-free in this beautiful country.
And how we manage to live here very comfortably on our basic pensions, and which we certainly could not do back in the UK.
So we're in Nesebar, it's a beautiful town on the Black Sea coast, and we're going to be showing you around parts of the town at the same time as talking to you. And the first way we manage to stay debt-free is because the cost of living here is much lower than in England. We're going to take you on a very short trip around our local supermarket. This is quite a large supermarket, and a lot of the things here are more expensive than other supermarkets. We do, however, like to come here for our meat. They've got a very good meat counter. We have just eaten one of these, and it was probably the nicest piece of pork I've had in a long time. Pork sausages, $6.99, and they're actually really good, these. Do you want to get a packet? Okay. This wine is from the local vineyard, and it's actually really good wine. It's not cheap wine, but it's cheap. So right next door to the supermarket is Petco, which is one of my favourite places to shop. Pick some up. Jeans. And one of my favourite items I buy almost every week are these candles at £3.39. So this is our local Lidl. I think that Lidls have the same layout no matter where you go in the world. There are places where we can purchase things more cheaply, such as vegetables from the market, for example, but we've chosen Lidl to do our shopping so that you can make comparisons with your local Lidl. We'd be very interested to know if you can get things more cheaply than we can over here in Bulgaria. Please let us know in the comments. We found that most cat pouches are only 85 grams, but they're 100 grams each here in Lidl. And with 6 cats, that makes a big difference. So we're going to cover our utility bills later in the video, but now we wanted to talk about a second reason that we're able to be debt-free in Bulgaria. And this one may surprise you. So believe it or not, at least 70% of the places we shop only take cash. This is very common in Bulgaria. The largest supermarkets, you can use your card, but the smaller shops, no, and most of the eating establishments, no, cash only. This tangible connection between how much money we have and what we're actually spending, we find really helpful in budgeting. Yes, you read that correctly. We mentioned in our recent video that the price of water here in Bulgaria is extremely low. But you can also obtain free water. Most villages have a spring, many of which are mineral springs, and most houses come with a well. You may not be able to drink the water in the well, at least without testing it, but you can use it to water your garden, which is a huge saving in summertime. Before going any further, I wanted to address the elephant in the room, which is of course everyone's biggest expense, and that is either a mortgage or rent. Well, we don't have either. House prices over here are so affordable that we've been able to buy a property outright. We had a huge mortgage in England, and it was always a big concern. I'll put links in the description box to how much we paid for 3 of the properties we've purchased over here, one of which was a mere €6,000. It's a wonderful feeling waking up each morning to know that I own my own home outright and I've no worries about a roof over my head. Another way we save money and stay debt-free is to grow all of our own fruit and vegetables, or at least most of them. This is very common here. We have a lot of sun and the ground is very fertile. People don't just grow their own fruit and vegetables, they also preserve them. There is canning equipment freely available over here, and most people do this. In addition to the fruit and veg, we grow and we dry out our own herbs. This has saved us an absolute fortune when I remember just how much I used to spend on those little Schwartz jars in the supermarket back in England.
The exchange rate here at the moment is very good, has been ever since Brexit. It always hovers around the 237 mark, which is very good, especially if you're a Brit and you get more love for your money.
Okay, another thing we really love about Bulgaria, and one of the things that helps us conserve our finances, is that it's just not as materialistic a country as Britain. We're not inundated with advertisements all the time, and we don't feel compelled to keep up with the Joneses like we did in England. Our neighbours in the village are mainly quite poor people, and there's no competitiveness. We don't feel we have to have a bigger car or a better house. People just all seem to get along and help each other. It's a very simple life. In fact, the only thing that they seem to compete over is the size of one's tomatoes. It's a much nicer way of life.
Although property is cheap here in Bulgaria, much of it is old and in need of renovation. And the way we found of saving money was doing the bulk of it ourselves. Everything that I can do, I do.
Jeff was a quantity surveyor and project manager back in England in the building trade. He has a lot of qualifications. He now provides a survey service for anyone thinking of buying property over here. I'll put information in the description box. This may sound like a bit of a random one, but I remember when I lived in England, I couldn't wait for my next foreign holiday. We live in such a beautiful country that I'm perfectly happy now just to stay at home. If we do want a weekend away, then we are within very easy driving distance of Hungary, Romania, Greece and Turkey. I really wanted some slippers. How much are they? 35. The slippers will have to wait till next month because we've almost spent up this month. And this is actually a big reason we managed to stay debt free. We don't have any credit cards. It's so tempting if you have a credit card.
It's also difficult to get credit here since Brexit for people from the UK.
So I said that I would list our utility bills, and this is where we pay them. It's a place called Easy Pay, and they only take cash. This is a list of our monthly and yearly bills so that you can see how much we pay for things. You can freeze the screen if you want to take a better look. I remember queuing in the post office as a small child with my mum to pay bills. There's a saying over here that Bulgaria is 50 years behind the rest of the world. But actually, I think this is a good thing. It's much nicer to be able to speak to people, especially if you've got a problem. Our lovely waiter has just brought us some homemade wine. Free on the house. Wow, this is the kind of thing you expect in Bulgaria. They're so friendly. Wow. We hope you've enjoyed the video and learning about the cost of living here, and especially looking at these beautiful scenes of this wonderful old town. Do let us know in the comments if there's anything in particular you would like us to discuss in our next video.